I'm Jahai, and these are three things I've learned so far as being a single young man. Number one, um, I think in this season of being single, something that I've learned is being able to learn to focus on the direction and the voice of God. Simply because I think um, hearing from God is very important simply because God gives us tools and strategies, and it gives us everything that we need to be able to flourish and to be able to get us to the destiny that it wants to take us. And it's very in order for us to get there, we of course have to learn to yield and learn to surrender. And that was one of the things I had to learn to do in this season of my life of being single, and just learning to be attentive to God so that I can be able to go where it wants me to go and to be able to be aligned. And I feel like when you're aligned with God and where God wants to take you, you're going to go really far. On top of that, of course, it's a little uncomfortable because, of course, we all have our desires and we all have our wants. But something I'm reminded of is that, God's plans are greater than ours. And God has completely revealed and showed himself to be approved. And I am be honest, there's no reason not to trust him. So I think that is definitely a crucial part of my singleness as of right now, for sure. Number two, another thing that I would say that has helped me throughout this time of my singleness and that I have learned is that iron sharpens iron. And what I mean by that is that every man needs a father figure or father figures in their lives. I know we live in a world where a lot of men don't have their father in their life. But blessed for me, I do have a father in the household who has been very present. Not my biological father, but my stepfather. And he has definitely been an example. And he has taught me so much of what being a man is about. And not just him, I have my other father, spiritual father, but I see him just as much as my real father as well. And then I have other uncles who have taught me. On top of that, I got brothers, and who has helped me become the man that I am today, and are continuously challenging me to become a better man every day. And they just constantly feed me wisdom and just always keep me on my toes. They always stay on my heels, making sure they're challenging me, making sure I'm in my right mind. If I say something that may come along, they're going to challenge it. And, I'm going to do the same. We look out for each other. And, whenever I got questions, I have people to ask these things too. And honestly, it's a huge blessing. I'm blessed to be able to have that. And I think that's a very important thing a man should have. People that he can look up to so that he can know the direction that he wants to go, and as well have people to look up to go in that direction and to know what to avoid and what things that are necessary to take, and just learning to become a better man and to have that, direction, that physical direction, and things of that nature. The third thing I've learned as far as being single, as a young man, is learning to be friends with women. And that sounds little. Man could be. Like I heard a lot of things growing up saying that men couldn't be friends with women, but I can't agree with that. Simply because I think it's very important to learn to be friends with women, because you learn to build a real bond. You learn to understand women. You learn to hear women. You learn to see women, not for just their bodies or just their appearance, but for who they are in their real essence. And I'm be honest, women have taught me a lot within these past few months, and has bettered me as a young man. Challenged me in all sorts of ways. Challenged my thinking, challenged some of my desires. They've challenged, you know, my emotions. It's just so much that I've learned, and my perspective has changed partly because of that. And I feel like the connection of a woman and a man, it's very powerful. You know, you don't have to have sex with every woman. That's something you don't have to have sex with everyone. You don't have to be with everyone. You don't have to be in a relationship or talk to every woman that you find attractive. You know, of course, you know, we're gonna make those moves. Sometimes, we feel, that sometimes friendships can go towards a relationship. That's something I'm learning. Um, but for the most part, I think it's very important that men should learn how to be friends with women, um, because that does translate into a relationship. I do believe, because when you learn to have friendship with a woman, you can enjoy the things that matter the most instead of the superficial. So I think that's another thing that I've learned as far as being single as a young man. So those are my three things. Make sure you hit that follow button and like this video.